Brought to you by Penguin.
A Rose and a Promise by Katie Flynn. Read by Anne Dover. Prologue. March 1944. Cadi woke with a start as the air raid siren blasted its mournful wail across the base. Swinging her legs out of bed, she reached for her greatcoat and threw it over her shoulders, then headed for the Anderson shelter. "They should build decent shelters before setting up these new bases," mumbled Ethel, one of the recent arrivals, as she settled on the bench next to Cadi. "With the Luftwaffe destroying airfields faster than we can build them, we have to make do with what we've got," said Cadi. She smiled kindly at the other girl. "Helping to build new airfields does come with one advantage." Ethel eyed her doubtfully. "Oh?" "We aren't on any maps, so the Krauts don't know we're here," said Cadi. "I hadn't thought of it like that," replied Ethel, glancing at the wedding ring that adorned Cadi's finger. "Is your husband in the services?" "Jez is a mechanic in the RAF, so he has both feet firmly on the ground, something for which I shall be forever grateful." Ethel swallowed hard as a series of sickening thuds sounded in the distance. "How close are they, do you think?" Cadi tilted her head to one side as she considered the new girl. "I take it this is your first posting?" Ethel nodded nervously. "First air raid too," she continued, before Cadi had a chance to express her surprise. "I come from Llangollen, a village not far from—" "Wrexham!" Cadi beamed, interrupting Ethel mid-sentence. Astonished that Cadi had heard of Llangollen, Ethel's lips rose into a small smile. "You know it?" Cadi nodded fervently. "I was born in Ross." Delighted to be in the company of someone local to her own area, Ethel's smile widened. "Talk about a small world." Her eyes fell to the corporal stripe that adorned Cadi's arm. "You've done ever so well for a woman from a small mining village." Cadi glanced at the stripe with pride. "I love my life in the WAF, although it's a far cry from what I'm used to." As she spoke, Cadi realised that Ethel was no longer paying attention to the bombs that continued to fall. Not wanting her to turn her attention back to the Luftwaffe, Cadi continued to talk, telling Ethel how she and her best friend Poppy had left Ross for Liverpool when they were just 16. "We hadn't been in Liverpool for more than a few days when we got attacked by a man called Eric Taylor," she said. "He was a real brute, someone who liked his drink." The WAF's eyes rounded. "What happened?" Cadi went on to explain how Jez, the man who was now her husband, had come to their rescue. "He fought Eric off with one punch before escorting us to his friend Maria's pub, where I could clean my bloodied head before catching the train back to Ross." Cadi sighed happily. "Oh, Maria was the answer to all our prayers. Not only did she see to my wounds, but she gave Poppy and me jobs at the Greyhound, running the upstairs as a B&B. "Every cloud," said Ethel. "Or fate," suggested Cadi. "After all, if we hadn't stayed in Liverpool, we'd never have rescued Eric's daughter Izzy from him." Ethel's jaw dropped. "The man who attacked you?" Cadi nodded. "It seemed we weren't the only women Eric had raised a hand to. Only in Izzy's case he used his belt, leaving her scarred below her eye." Ethel tutted disapprovingly. "Where is she now?" "In the WAF, same as Poppy." Cadi paused before continuing. "She's gone from being frightened of her own shadow to giving orders. She's a sergeant." Enthralled by Cadi's tale, Ethel shuffled eagerly in her seat. "Is that why you joined, or were you conscripted?" Cadi grimaced. "The Luftwaffe destroyed the Greyhound whilst we were sheltering in the cellar." Ethel held a hand to her mouth as her eyes grew ever rounder. "Was anyone killed?"
Sample complete. Ready to continue?